Hey everybody, Last Patriot here, coming to you today live from the very verdant area of Central Jersey. Do a little gear review today, and the subject of today's review is the Victorinox SWISSCHAMP. This is the big Swiss Army knife made in Switzerland. At the end of the video, if you like it, check it out in the description. There's a link, you can pick one up from us. And I got this knife a few years ago. This is one of the biggest ones, one of the biggest practical ones they make. I mean, they make one that has like 1,000 tools, but this is one you can actually carry. I got this a few years ago. I always carry it when I'm in the field, hunting, hiking. Today I just went for a little hike. And this is an excellent piece of gear. If I was going into the unknown, the middle of nowhere, this is one. Bugs coming. This is one of the things I'd want to have with me. This. You can almost survive with just this. All right, it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but this is an excellent piece of gear. Just going to go over it now. This one is made by Victorinox. It's actually made in Switzerland. This is not one of the Chinese ones. This is the real deal. And let's see, you can see the Swiss cross emblem, and on the main blade, if you can see it there, it says Victorinox Swiss made. This is the real one. So we have the main blade. We have a small secondary penknife type blade. This one, I would usually save this one, really not use it much, because if you damage the main blade or it gets dull, you always want to have one that's razor sharp. You could do a lot of small, fine work with this. So those are the two blades. And I need reading glasses, but I don't have them because I'm too vain. So I gotta squint. Here's a file. It's a file and hacksaw. Can you see it's nice, right? With the sun gleaming off the stainless. It's a file and hacksaw, and these do work. This one, everything on this knife works. Everything that I've tried. Hacksaw and file do work. It's a single cut file. It means it only has grooves in one direction. And here we have. This is a wood and bone saw, and you can see. Teeth are slightly offset. This does work also. Well, everything works. Let's see. Next to the bone saw is a fish scaler with a built-in ruler. I think that's in centimeters. Yeah, metric ruler, fish scaler on this side, and I believe, I'm not a fisherman, but I believe this is for removing hooks from a fish. I think it's called a hook disgorger. Next to the fish scaler, we have a nice pair of scissors. These are spring-loaded, and they're under proper tension. The blades are not loose against each other. A lot of cheap scissors, they don't cut because the blades are not really touching each other. This is well made in typical Swiss fashion. Next to the scissors is a pair of pliers, also spring-loaded. These are good light-duty pliers. Obviously, you're not going to change a tire with these. If you need something heavier than this, you're probably better off just carrying a separate pair of pliers. But this is good for general, light-duty work. Fixing a piece of gear, stuff like that. Yeah, if you need something heavier than that, you're better off just carrying a separate pair of pliers, just for that. Here we have a Phillips screwdriver. Magnifying glass. This is a small straight blade screwdriver and can opener, and the way this works is the blade of the can opener is actually sharp, and it's similar to the old military style P38 can openers, where you hook the edge of the can under here and you actually cut around the rim of the can with this blade, and this does work. Like I said, they all work. But that's a can opener and a small flat tip screwdriver. And here's a large flat tip screwdriver, can opener, and the little notch is for stripping wire. You would have to cut the insulation first. This is not a sharp wire stripper. It's just once you cut around the insulation, you can put on here, grab it and just yank the insulation off. Okay, and famous toothpick, plastic toothpick. It fits into the handle on this side. Next to the toothpick we have a ballpoint pen that also tucks in right next to the toothpick. Has to be oriented correctly. There we go. Snap that down. On the that was the main side. On the other side we have a corkscrew. Now this is one of my favorite, coolest things about this knife is that inside the corkscrew there is a little screwdriver. This is like for fixing eyeglasses, probably electronic stuff, very small stuff. But this is cool. And then to store it, you just put it back in the corkscrew and you tighten it down, and that's where it lives. And another cool feature, inside the storage area of the corkscrew is a straight pin. This is more useful than it looks. Obviously you can dig out splinters, which happens all the time if you're in the woods. You can use it for other medical procedures. I'm not going to get into it, it's a little bit gross, but this is very, very useful, more than you would think. And that goes right under. So that lives under there, right under the corkscrew. Let's see. Okay, next to that we have a chisel. All the tools are sharp, so you gotta be careful. This is a wood chisel, and it is sharpened like a knife blade, so be careful. And we have another medium-sized flat tip screwdriver. Then we have, this is in the catalog, you know, in the literature they call this a parcel carrying hook, which I think if you're carrying shopping bags, you can hold it like this and just, you know, hook your bags under that. But I would think more realistically, you would use that if you're repairing gear, if you have to sew something up with that heavy nylon thread, tent or a knapsack, and you have to pull, or a piece of leather gear. Once you pass the stitch through, you can use this to pull the stitch through, because pulling it through leather, sometimes heavy leather or canvas, is tricky. And last but not least, we have this is another cool one. This is a combination awl and drill bit, and you can see the hole. You see the hole in the middle. Same thing, you would put a piece of thread through there, use it like a needle, punch it through, and then you can pull the stitch out, and you could use that to repair gear. But what's cool about this tool is on this side there's a sharpened edge. This edge is sharp, and you can use this as a drill. And the way you do that is you put it into the workpiece and you just manually twist it. And as you do, you just work it through, and you can actually drill through stuff. Obviously not metal, but you can drill through wood and plastic and leather and stuff like that. So like I said, I carry this one. Yeah, this is one of my most indispensable pieces of gear, and I highly recommend it. Check out the link, you can pick one up. This is the SWISSCHAMP by Victorinox. Whether you get it from us or anybody else, make sure you get the real one. There's a lot of copies out there, Chinese ones. You know, this one, you could tell the difference between this one and a Chinese one. I have the Chinese one also. Obviously, I'm carrying this one. All right, so this is Victorinox SWISSCHAMP. Check it out. And pretty nice day out today. Mid-80s, went for about a 3-miler, and just wrapping it up. Okay, so this is the Last Patriot signing off for today, reminding you to always be prepared.